This is Scott Bach-Hansen, Vice President for Cardinal Basketball Officials Association. Today I'm going to talk to you about how do we referee a 1-3-1 defense. So let's take a look at some different aspects of it. Hopefully this 5 to 10 minute video will provide you and your crews an opportunity to at least have some discussion about how you'll cover it going forward. So in a typical front court matchup, and we're talking 3-person officiating here, we'll have our trail in the right spot, the center, free throw line extended, and our lead in between the 3-point arc and the lane line. That's our generic normal setup. The problem with that is if you get into a situation where a team is playing a 1-3-1 defense, especially one that might be playing a little bit higher up, your areas of coverage are really going to change. Okay? So there's some things that we can do as officials to better prepare ourselves for this. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a few different plays and a few different looks and explain to you what teams will be doing in order to make sure that they have this covered. So let me go ahead and clear this board. And if we look at the defense and the way that the defense sets up, generally the 1 is going to be a little bit high up here, and then you have 3 that generally get a little above the free throw line extended. The reason why that is I'll show you in a second. They want to try to get some traps going. Then the other one would be right about that dotted line circle. If a team is very athletic and has a lot of opportunities, if they're especially if they're long and they can get into the passing lanes, you might see more of this defense coming than the man-to-man. So one of the things that an offense can do to counteract that is if you see a 1-3-1 defense, then you should expect that the offense will come with a 2-1-2 or something of an even top, where they have 2 players back and forth here. This is to help them relieve pressure in case the defense tries to trap. They generally will have the second one here. Actually, they really want it at the free throw line, but because this defender's higher up, it will give them another passing lane here. So they want to create a triangle passing lane. They also want to create another triangle passing lane with the big man, who's usually right here at the top, to be able to pass to the corners. An effective offense can get a lot of 3-point looks in a 2-1-2 offense against a 1-3-1 defense. So this is how we are going to interact with this play. Now, if you're a trail official in this play, you can't really be here, obviously, because now you're below the play, you're not trailing the play, and you're in the way of a potential trap area. There's 4 different areas, and I'll show you this in a minute, that the defense is going to try and trap. One is up here in this upper quadrant, over here in this upper quadrant, and then lower quadrant 1, and then lower quadrant 2. So these are areas that, as officials, will challenge us to have the generic setup. We can't have trail here. Our center being below the defense may or may not be in a good position, so our center may need to be higher. And our lead positions can really have to stretch out their area. And we're going to talk about whether we rotate or not here in a minute. But let me show you another screen of a team that's doing a video and how they're teaching their kids. So if I show you this screen, these are the 4 boxes I was talking about earlier. They are going to try to draw the offensive player into a position here where they can trap so that they can get a better position to cause a turnover. And so as I forward this play up, you'll see in this video, they're teaching their team that once this player gets in that box, we need to be aggressive and trap. Now, not all defenses are going to try and trap. Some will just do it to try to help slow the pace down. If you have one team that plays faster than the other, you might see a 1-3-1 trap or a 1-3-1 defense to try to slow them down. But as you can see in this video, this is a 1-3-1 defense that has trapping principles. So from a trail perspective, if we were looking at this play here, we'd really want to be farther back. So if I go back to our play here, our official is not going to do us any good here. Okay, so our trail official will still need the trail to play back here. Okay, so this is our trail official will still be here, and by the way, may need to work the banana arc here, as we call it. You may want to work this banana a little bit more in the back court in this kind of situation. The center official, while this might be the ideal starting point, you might want to be a little higher for two reasons. One is you can referee this play and you have a clear sight line. You're not being straight lined by this defender that's wide. The other thing is you may need to help on the division line, and if that ball gets passed over here, you want to be in a better position so when they trap, you can help. Our lead official, okay, is going to have a couple of areas really to focus on. One is obviously this defender here. There's no way that our trail official will be able to, if the pass comes here and a quick shot goes up, be able to get wide enough if there is a trapping situation to be able to get this. The other area is here. The lead needs to referee aggressively, kind of like a C does in a press situation, to be able to help this C with that look. Another thing is, if the pass comes over here and we end up having the C go up high, this doesn't necessarily mean that we need to rotate, because the pass can come back and forth very quickly. So, and more times than not, our lead official will just need to referee in a closed down position. If they try to rotate over, because that's what they've been taught, if the C has pressure, we want the lead to rotate and the C to referee this play. In a 1-3-1 trap situation, that may not necessarily be the best thing. So even if the lead does come over, the lead may need to just come back as if they were working a two-person crew. So hopefully that will give you some ideas. I want to show you a few videos that show you how the officials are handling this type of play. For many years, Xavier has been known to have a very aggressive 1-3-1 defense. They're known for their 1-3-1 defense, similarly to the way Syracuse is known for their 2-3 matchup zone. In this play here, you'll notice that the trail official stays a little farther back, even though the ball's on the center side. The center is looking back to referee this play. However, we notice that the offense has an even matchup up here, so they have two, and as the pass gets turned around, you'll see how we cover this play. I think the main thing that I want you to pay attention to is the lack of rotations that will happen in the videos I'm going to show you. So as we play this video, you'll notice that the pass comes over, and as we pause the video, these passes going back and forth are quite frequent because there's not a big man coming up here. Wisconsin in this situation has not gotten their big man into a better place to receive a pass. And so the passes will keep going back and forth. And again, there's lots of jump shots that happen. This is a Marquette team, and you can tell that, hey, you need to get on this side so we have an even front. This is the way that the teams will defend this. But again, you'll notice that there's no big man up top. So there's no 2-1-2 offense. They're in a 2-3. My guess is you'll see one of the big men come up here, as he does. And now he gets the pass, okay? And now we have a 3-on-2 break, but it gets closed down quickly, and we have turnovers. So as you're watching this kind of defense, and you're watching the officials, okay, in this situation here, I think our center needs to be a little bit higher. Look, he's an NCAA official. I'm not. But I will tell you that in order for him to be able to effectively referee this matchup, and also get this matchup as that ball goes over here, he can't be looking through this defender. You'll notice our lead official here is doing a pretty good job of keeping an eye on the post player here, knowing that our center is looking back, but is also in a position to help with the three-point arc. As we look through this play, you'll notice a couple of other things that happen. As the pass goes over to the top, now our trail is realizing, well, I need to be back out, so he'll get in a position where he can referee the play and still cover him. And as the play goes to the middle, everyone's in pretty good shape here, but you'll notice that there's not a lot of rotations happening. The ball's being swung around multiple times. Again, we're not rotating. And again, a lot of it is just to do because we have a very aggressive style of coverage here. And then, again, this causes a turnover. Xavier is very good at this defense. As we look through again, you'll see the 2-1-2. You'll see a big man come up here to the foul line. At least he's being told to come up to the foul line. And so they're really in out of sorts here because they're not in that 2-1-2. They really are a 1-2-2. So as we referee this play, we don't necessarily need to rotate. Our lead is doing just a good job closing down when needed and being able to cover the play. All right, let's look at a different video here. Michigan also employs a 1-3-1 defense from time to time. John Beilein has that staple that he brought with him from West Virginia. And you'll notice that they have a much higher, if I back this up just a tad, they have a much higher 1-3-1. You'll see that the defender is actually picking up the offensive player in the backcourt as opposed to waiting till he comes across. What this does is it extends the defense, which tells me that our trail will need to referee more in the backcourt. Our center will need to referee higher. So as we go through this, you'll see that the center now realizes I better get up here because they're playing very high on this 1-3-1. You'll notice also that if I'm the lead official, I'm going to pay attention to two things. One is I'm going to pay attention to a big man coming up to the top. I'm going to pay attention to the wings. I'm also going to pay attention to the coach because sometimes, right now, this referee has got to officiate this play. This coach may realize we're in trouble and will want to look for a timeout. So if you look at this angle, what I talked about earlier in this picture is the trail is refereeing more in the backcourt and the C is refereeing higher. So if we go back to this video, it's very similar. The trail has great position. There's nothing that says that you can't be in the backcourt to referee the play. You need to be where you can be to see the play. You need to be able to see that matchup. You can see the trap. Our center official is in very good position as well. There's not a lot happening down here. There's a player in the corner here that's just waiting for a three-point shot to come up, and we have a big man. So the lead is very comfortable refereeing this matchup and being able to stretch out as needed. As the play starts to break down, you'll notice that we've rotated. And we're in a situation where we rotated and maybe we should not have rotated. Because now we have two C's and we're sending our player off to the races. We could have covered this play by staying in our normal spots. Okay, again, you'll see the trap coming. You'll see the trail official stay in the backcourt to referee this play for the most part. The center will now bump up, realizing that there's pressure. And the lead, instead of rotating now, referees in a closed down position. As the ball gets passed to the corner, he rotates. And I think in the high school game, we don't want this official rotating as the shot is getting ready to go up. Because now we put ourselves in a position where we have officials on the move and we're not covering this correctly. Again, these are big-time Division I officials, much better than I am, so I'm not trying to nitpick them. But I do want to make sure that we as high school officials realize that we're not in the same boat of caliber of officials and the way that they cover this as we should be. Again, you'll see that Baylor also looks to have this type of defense on a regular basis. You know, they have their three lines clearly set as it says, and you'll notice that the official here, I'm going to pause this before it plays again, the official is not going to have a very good view here, so he needs to step up, which he will. And the lead official can certainly reach out and look in that area as well. Okay, this is the key matchup to breaking down the 1-3-1 zone, because if a pass comes here, you know, then we have a pass here or a pass here. We should really have somebody down in this corner. But Kansas is overloading one side. And then we want to make sure that we also pay attention to the rebounders on this play as well. So as the play comes up, I really think that our C official is too low. Okay, he's not going to be able to see this play entirely, and he's looking to receive this play instead of moving to receive this play. As the pass goes to the corner, our lead official is starting to come over and then realizes maybe I don't need to. So a lot of times when we're looking at this type of play, we as officials need to make sure that we're not so quick to rotate. It's a difficult challenge because when you look at it, we want to rotate because where the ball is helping us get to. So when we look at the different aspects of this type of coverage, there's a lot to consider. So there's three things that I really wanted to make sure we paid attention to. One is that the trail can stay deep. Okay, so you can stay deep. Okay, our center can work higher. Okay, our lead official will have to stretch out into two areas for matchups to help with 3-point shots and to help with covering this top part here. And the other thing is we may not rotate as much. Okay, so if you're seeing a 1-3-1 defense in your games, it might be good for you if you're not aware of it ahead of time to get together during the first dead ball and timeout and just say, hey, let's make sure we get into position to referee the play, and let's not rotate as much until we get to a comfort level we know where the ball's going. So I hope this video helped you. It's not meant to change any of the dynamics or to say anything bad about the officials that we're seeing on the videos. They are certainly at a higher level than we are, but as officials that don't get to see this defense very often, it'll be important for us to be able to referee this appropriately. Thanks, and have a great year.